on this week's live stream. Mr. T revs up a Rube Goldberg machine as he unveils his new summer learning program. The Scratch user community tries to organize its own convention. And Scratch the Cat gets a singing lesson. All this and more coming up. Good morning, world. It's Mr. T back with another Chromeworks technology live stream. Welcome, everybody. So it's so nice to be back here. I'm sure you might have noticed a little change in color scheme here. I have a brand new Chromeworks t-shirt that I'm showing off here today. Let me pull back a little so you can see it in all its glory. Pretty nice looking, huh? So Kian is asking me, is this a new Canada theme? No, the color scheme is, well, I am Canadian, so the red color scheme works really nicely. The real idea, though, is that my old golf shirts were black with a green logo on it, and man, that created trouble with the green screen, right? So I kept, my logo kept being transparent every time I tried to run it on the live stream, and I had to have a little green card that I put behind me for this kind of live stuff. Let me show that to you right now. So I've got this little green card that kind of is shined through in the background here that helps to stop my logo from being transparent. So I thought I'd go with something a little different, a little more updated here. So that's what I'm going for right now. Yesterday was indeed Canada Day here in Canada, of course, and I enjoyed it by going out for one of my very first unmasked walks around downtown Ottawa. We actually went to a beautiful little restaurant patio and ate in a restaurant for the first time in a year, so I had a great time. Happy Canada Day to all my Canadian listeners, and happy July 4th coming up tomorrow to all my American listeners as well, or viewers, including, of course, Thane from Florida, and Abe from Ohio, and who else do we have? Funny animator Jim from New York. So all our American fans, we'll send a big shout out to them for the 4th of July. I hope it's a better 4th of July than the last one, which was pretty sedate. Okay, guys, so this week we got all kinds of stuff lined up. It's more of a casual summer vibe we got going here. My co-op students have mostly left, so we don't have a lot of new content created by our students today. So I've got a couple of little projects I want to show you. We'll do a little bit of coding, but mostly I'm just kind of setting stuff up for next week. I've got a really brand new project that I'm starting off next week, a live coding thing that I'm going to be talking about in a little minute. First of all, though, I want to talk about our project of the week, which is Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. We're on part 2 of our tutorial, and that will be coming out a little later today. I'm not sure if we're going to hit our 11 o'clock deadline on that. Cam's feverishly editing part 2 and getting it ready to go here. I'm joined right now by Ben Tate, who's our coder for this project, and also did the tutorial. Hey, Ben.
Hey, how's it going?
Good. So Ben, tell us what we can expect to see in part 1 today, in part 2 today.
So part 2, we're finishing off the character, so we're getting all of our hit animations working, we're going to be able to jump, we're going to actually be able to die, which is a major bad thing about the last tutorial. We have to get that finished. And then the death effect too, so we have cool little effects that come up whenever we die.
Good. Yeah, this video is doing really well. We've got hundreds of viewers online for your tutorial already, and the game itself, which is available on Scratch. You can find the links inside the file description here, is doing really great too. So it looks like this is getting really good traction, Ben. Congratulations, a great project. So I think the plan is, and we're still talking about it, but I think we're going to do a little bit of an accelerated release schedule for this game, which means that on I think tomorrow we're going to release part 3. Is that right, Ben? Is that the...
Yes, I think tomorrow we're doing part 3.
Yeah, so we're going to release part 2 today, part 3 tomorrow, and then part 4 next Saturday, and then we'll be coming at you with a brand new project after that. So looking forward to doing that with you guys. All right, so I was speaking a little bit about my summer plans. Let's get right to that. I wanted to do something a little bit more like COVID Computer Camp, which is how this all started. If you guys who've been with us since day one might recall, we way back in March 2020, at the beginning of the COVID lockdowns, I started live streaming every day, and we did a little bit of coding every day. It was usually a pre-planned project. But what I want to do starting Monday is at 10 o'clock, I'm going to be going online with a live stream. But instead of having it be a scripted project, what I want to do is do something called live coding. So this new project called Mr. T's Code Clinic, which we're starting off, is going to be basically, it's going to be running Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday mornings at 10 o'clock Eastern. Now, I'm not going to commit to this for the whole summer. It depends if you guys are interested in participating or not. So if I get lots of viewers, I'll keep it going. And if everyone ignores me and I'm online all by myself, as sometimes happens with these ventures, then I'm going to call it quits. And I will be traveling a little bit this summer, so it's not going to be routine. I'll be announcing it on here and on my normal social media. So if you want to find out whether it's happening or not, just stay tuned to YouTube especially, and you'll see my stuff lined up there. So we're going to be doing unscripted live coding. And by live coding, what I mean is we're not going to know what we're going to be making. We're going to have a rough idea, like I'll have a project lined up, or we'll be talking to our user community and figuring out what kind of project we want to make. But I won't be going in with any code at all. It's a little bit like flying without a net, right? You're going to be able to tune in and watch on Discord or on YouTube. And when you do, we're not going to know exactly what's going to happen. We're going to start off with a new project. And as I said, we're gonna be flying without a net. We're going to be basically coding based on a rough plan of what we want to do, but we're not going to know what actual code to do. And what that's going to do is give you guys, a user community, a chance to participate. I'm going to be sitting here with a screen where I'm going to be coding stuff, and you're going to be able to shout out in the chat, or joining me on Discord and give me some suggestions about what to do. You can work on the same project simultaneously. I'll send you a link and you can add code to it and then show me what you guys are working on as well. And as time goes on, we're going to start building up these big projects. We're going to run into trouble, as we always do when we're doing this kind of coding. So when we get stuck, we're going to basically give a halt to it for the day and set you guys loose to try and solve the problem. And I'll be solving it on my own overnight. And then the next day we'll get back and I'll do a little lesson on what we got stuck on and how to solve it. Basically, there are some problems that are just a little bit too complex to be dealt with live. So that's how we're going to handle it. Basically, we're just going to do little chunks of coding, maybe a half an hour to an hour or so every day. And at the end of that, we're going to store everything that we did into a little written blog, like a development blog, and you'll find links for that on Monday that will kind of describe everything we did today and what we're trying to do tomorrow. And then you can join in the next day and catch up by reading our blog and then get started coding with us. So it's going to be a real chance for you guys to get involved in this process and actually help me build code. And the projects that we build here, we're going to end up running on the live stream. So my plan for day one here is I've got Jeffrey hard at work on a Rube Goldberg project. I don't know if you guys are familiar with Rube Goldberg devices. This is one that a user by the name of, what is her name? Ciara0404 created a little while ago. And I just wanted to use this one as an example of what we're going to be doing. We're going to be creating a project a little bit like this one, where one thing hits another. Let me run through this project right now just to show you quickly. So the thing pivots, makes the ball fall, which falls into a cup, which goes down here, which tips something over, which pushes the button, which lights up a light, right? Rube Goldberg devices are crazy devices that are way too complicated to do something really, really simple. We're going to do something like this, but on a bigger scale. We're going to use a virtual screen that's hundreds and hundreds of pixels across that we can scroll across. And this is what Jeffrey's coding for me, is the engine we're going to use for this. And then we're going to start doing devices, and we're going to do the biggest, most complicated Rube Goldberg device ever. So that's our plan for day one here. And the cool thing about it is it'll be cut up into different modules so that other users are going to be able to upload modules to us, and we can add them to our big device. So it's going to be a big big cooperative coding project where you guys are going to be able to watch me code it live and also code your own little pieces to it. So I'm really excited to be bringing this to you. I'm going to show you a little bit more about that in a second, but I just wanted to see who was online today and have a little chat with them. So let's get back to my other screen, and I'll come back to this Rube Goldberg in just a minute here. So I'm joined on my Discord community here with a whole bunch of our regular users. We've got a busy crew here today. Good morning to Abe in Ohio. And we're joined by Ben, who's our former co-op student, who's now a Chromeworks volunteer. He's with us as a Chromeworks staff member. So hey to Ben. Chris from London, England is here this morning. Good morning. It's probably good afternoon for you, Chris. Hey, Chris.
Hi.
How are things in England today? Is the weather okay?
Not this morning,
Yeah.
but now it's quite sunny.
Quite sunny, eh? Well, good to hear. So are the lockdown downs are pretty much over there in England now, I guess, eh? Things are kind of back to normal again?
Yeah, the properly finishes at end of school term.
Okay, nice. So are you out of school now, Chris?
No, we still got 1 more month.
A month? Oh my God. Wow. Okay. That's a lot longer than it is here in Ottawa. Wow. That's crazy. Okay. Well, thanks, Chris. I'm joined here also by Gamer Davey from Ottawa. Davey is one of the recipients of this brand new Chromeworks t-shirt. He won a contest a few weeks ago. Davey, have you gotten your t-shirt yet?
I don't think so.
You don't think so? Okay, it's probably coming on the mail Monday. It's speeding towards your house right now, Davey. So do take a picture of yourself in it if you want to show it to us on the stream for next week. But Davey's getting his new t-shirt soon. We're also joined by Kian the Awesome, also from Ottawa here. Good morning, Kian. Hi, Kian. And we're also joined, as always, by Thane, Crazy Kirby Boy himself from Florida. Hi, Thane. Good morning.
Happy City.
If you are watching over on YouTube, by all means, drop us a hello. I'm not sure who's joining us today, but I did get a hello from Bon J before the stream even started. So if you want a shout out, just let us know how old you are and where you come from, and we'll mention your name on the stream if you'd like that. All right, guys. So who's excited about this new summer program? I'm hoping you guys are going to be able to join us and participate online. So Thane told me, yeah. So Abe, are you going to be joining us? Well, kind of hard to hear, buddy. But anyway, so really excited to have you guys on board. I'm not quite sure how this is all going to work out. It's really just about developing code on the fly and trying to come up with ideas while you're working on stuff. I want to give you guys a quick idea of just how we would go about developing stuff in live coding. And so that's what I wanted to do today. Abe, can you mute your mic, buddy?
Yeah, probably. That's what I said.
Yeah.
Is this better?
Just mute your mic if you're not talking to me. But anyway, that does sound like you got your sound problems under control here. Anyway, guys, so let me get back to my other screen here, and I'll show you a little bit more about what I imagine live coding is going to be about. So starting with a project like this, now we're going to start with more or less a blank screen. We're going to have some default graphics down, and we're just going to start adding events to this project here. Whoa, what's going on here? Let's get inside it. I'll go see inside to my code here. Now, in this case, we've already got a pre-built project where one thing happens, followed by another, followed by another. The event that actually triggers this stuff, what I'm going to do is actually, today I'm going to add a new device to this. We're going to take a animal, let's go with chicken, and we're going to add it here. We're going to have it get slapped by this domino when it comes down, and then the chicken is going to peck at this button and make the light go off. And so the idea is I don't really know how I'm going to code this. It's pretty straightforward, but you can kind of watch code being developed on the fly with this method. And rather than just seeing everything packaged up nicely, you can see kind of how messy sometimes the coding process is. So I'm going to get to my button here. I need to create some extra room on my screen. So what I'm going to do is redesign this a little bit. I'm going to grab this button. I'm going to shrink it a little bit. And I'm going to move it over here. And I'm going to take this chord and I'm going to redraw it a little bit so that it goes back here again. So I'm just going to move it over a little bit so that we have a slightly different layout here. There we go. Now, if I want to get rid of any of these control points, it looks like I got too many of them here. I'm just going to click on them, on one of them, and then hit my delete key, just like that, just to straighten this out a little bit, because I just don't need that many control points here. There we go. So we've got something a little bit better here. And let's drag this little slider over a little bit to make it curve better. Okay, so we've got our proper button now, and you see we've got a whole bunch of extra space here on the side. So I'm going to take advantage of that right now. I'm going to grab a little chicken and I'm going to put him into place here. So let's go ahead and do that right now. If anyone on the Discord has any suggestions, welcome to Pro Learner as well, who's just joined us over here on the Discord. So I'm going to go grab a chicken for myself here. Let's go type in chicken into the search engine here, and I'll grab my hen, who has some, you can see he has some nice animations here that should work quite nicely for this project. So let's go ahead and do that. And so now we've got, whoa, I don't think I got my chicken here. Let me try that again. So I'll click on my hen, and that will import him. There we go, and now he's on my screen here quite nicely. Let's have a look at his costume. We've got a regular costume here, which is looking pretty good. We've got another one. So these two costumes, between these two, we've got him kind of walking a little bit here. We've got one with him kind of looking off to the side here a little bit, and one with him pecking. This one will work quite nicely for what I want to have happen here, which is I want this guy to kind of get whacked in the butt by one of these dominoes as it's falling here. So what I think I'm going to do is design on this particular costume here, the third one, I'm just going to fill it up with a little bit of white. And I'm going to type a big exclamation point here. And we'll do it in black, I think. So let's pick a nice black color. There we go. Now we've got a nice exclamation mark here. Let's make it a little bit bigger. There we go. And this is the costume he's going to wear when he gets slapped in the butt by this thing. So let's get him down onto the screen in the spot where we want him. I'm going to want to shrink him a little bit. Let's go to maybe 75 or something here. I want him flipped backwards. So I'm just going to, in the editor here, rotate his direction around. He's upside down now, so we're going to have to fix that by clicking on this little button here. There we go, and now we've got him set up properly. Okay, so this is his starting position right here, and we don't want him wearing costume 3. So let's go to our code here, and we'll start coding this to see what we can do. So we'll go when green flag clicked. We're going to tell him to go to his start position, because we definitely want him to go back to this spot again. Now, no matter where I move him on the screen, he's always going to pop back to that location here. Let's stop the project here. And we want him wearing this costume because we're going to be switching to a different costume later. So let's just tell him to switch to costume hen A, which is the first one. There we go. Now, he's not going to do anything else here until the domino comes around and swacks him in the butt here. So let's see what the actual broadcast is that's going to make that happen. So the broadcast here is called button press. We're not going to do a button press here. We're going to have a button press. We're going to have the chicken do the button press. So let's do a new event here. We're going to broadcast a new message, and we're going to call this hit in butt. There we go. So when he gets hit in the butt, which is after the third domino finishes falling, we're going to have him hit in the butt, and then he's going to start doing something. When hen receives this message, when I receive hit in butt, we're going to have him do that exclamation mark here. So we're going to tell him switch costume to hen C, which is the one where he goes, "Wah," And we're going to have him play a little noise here. So fortunately, I'm really good at recording chicken sounds. So I'm going to do some custom sound effects here. I'm going to go to my sounds, and I'm going to go record, and I'm going to do a surprise chicken sound, which is going to sound something like this. Let's play that back and see what that sounds like. Perfect. Excellent. Okay, so let's save that, and we'll call that recording surprise. And there we go. So how do we make this happen? When I receive hidden but, we're going to switch to the sound, and then we're going to play the sound surprise. Let's play it until done, because we don't really want anything happening until he's done playing that sound. And then we're going to switch back to a different costume again. So let's switch back to, we'll have him walk a little bit here. Pro Learner says, my programs are always cool. Well, thank you very much, Pro Learner. I'm just trying to have fun. I've always thought that Scratch was a super fun way to have fun in the classroom. I'm a teacher myself. And so I just want to show kids that this is a great way to learn and have fun. But you got to be willing to goof around a little bit and do some silly stuff. And that's what I'm trying to do here today. So now we're going to have him walk a little bit. We're going to switch back and forth between this costume A and hen B, which is like this. So we're going to have him go back and forth between these two costumes and take a little step forward each time. So let's put that into a loop so that we can have him do it multiple times. And I think every time that we walk, I'm going to have him go bark, 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 like that. So let's record one of those sounds as well. I'll call it a walk sound. So let's go to record, and I'm going to go bark. Okay, there we go. Okay, there we go. So I'll just call that one walk. So every time we take a couple of steps, I'm going to have them go bark, bark, bark. So let's go start sound from our sounds commands here. Start sound, walk. So we're going to start sound, switch to costume A, then we're going to wait just a little bit, maybe 0.3 seconds. And then we're going to switch costumes. Then we're going to have him wait again. Let's put that into a loop so that he does that a few times. And we'll actually walk him forward a little bit here. So let's have him move maybe 4 steps and see what that looks like each time that we go around this loop here. So we're going to start the sound, move him 4 steps, switch costume again, and do that around a couple of times in a loop. So let's go do a loop maybe 5 times here. And let's see what that looks like. Okay, let's max this screen out and give her a try. So the red ball. Oh, I don't think I have the event to trigger this yet. That's not going to work without an event. So when I receive hit but at the end of, oh, it's all set up properly. I actually did it and I didn't realize it. Okay, let's try this again. You can see there's no sound effects in this, but when we do our own, we're going to add sound effects at every single step. There we go. Now, that was a little bit slow, and he didn't move very far. Let's have a look at what's wrong in our code. If anyone has any suggestions for something we can do to make this work better, I'm open to hearing it. So we're going to start the sound. We're going to move 4 steps. I thought he would have walked a little further than that. Let's just run this 5 steps again, this repeat loop a couple of times. Yeah, oh, I went 0.03 seconds here, and that's part of why the walk happened too fast. I didn't catch myself doing that. Let's try that again. There we go. That's better. I'm going to make him walk a little further too. Let's try like 7 steps or something. Okay, we're going to try this one more time. Oh, I have to reconnect the code though. Just one more try. Okay, let's give this one more shot here. So the pendulum comes around, makes the ball fall into the bucket, makes the dominoes fall over, hit the guy in the butt. Okay, that was okay. He didn't move very far though, eh? Let's try to tell him to move like 12 steps here. I would have expected him to move a lot farther than that, frankly. Or maybe we can have him move a little bit with each walk here. So let's try that. I'll have him move 6 steps here. So you can see I don't really know what I'm doing here, and this is one of the things I'm trying to convey to you with live coding.
Make him glide to, you could just make him glide to the other side.
I could make him glide, yeah. The thing is I wanted this sound effect playing every time. So if I did a glide, I would have to have 2 things happening simultaneously. That's a good suggestion, but in this case, because I want to have a sound effect triggered each time, it would actually make it more complicated to do a glide here. But those are the kind of suggestions I'm looking for, so thank you. Okay, here we go. Let's try that one more time. Hey, that's exactly what I'm looking for. We're going to maybe want to do that loop 2 more times here, though. So let's try, or we'll do like 8 times here. And at the end of it, once we get out of this loop, I want him to peck down. So let's grab that little peck, which is hand D. We're going to have him wear costume D. So let's go switch costume to costume D. So we're going to do a little sound effect here as well. And I'm actually just going to simulate the clicking. I'm going to go like that just to make the sound quickly. I would probably go look for a sound effect if I had a little more time, if we were doing this and not on the show. But let me just show you quickly what this would look like. So I'm going to record and we'll go. There we go. And so there's the button hitting the chicken hitting the button. So Pro Learner's saying when the domino hits the chicken, it should move at the same time. He's saying the timing's a little bit off there. Well, that's good advice, Pro Learner. Let me have a look here and see what I can do to fix that up. So what can we do in the code here to fix that sound up a little bit? All right, I'm just going to, before I forget, I'm going to put my new sound effect in here. Let's go start sound. And I think it's just recording 1 here. And then we're going, actually, let's play it until done. And then we'll have him switch his costume back to Hen A again. So we're going to switch costume back to Hen A. And then at the end of that, we're going to play the, because we've pecked already, we're going to broadcast that, that other broadcast that's going to get the next part of it going. And that's button press here. So hopefully he'll have pressed the button at that point. Now for our timing here, I do agree that it should happen right away. Eh? So maybe we should do a start sound here instead of play sound until done. Let's try that and see if that fixes stuff up. So we're going to start sound, surprise, and I think rather than waiting here, that will clean it up a little bit. So let's give it one more try here and see if this works. So one ball hits another ball, falls into the bucket, starts the dominoes going. 1, 2, 3. And here we go, and then he goes and clicks, and then the light goes on. Beautiful. Now, I didn't see the exclamation mark there, and that was because that happened so quickly that we didn't get a chance to see, eh? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this costume switch, and I'm going to make it happen at the same time as the hidden butt here, and we're going to, and that way, we're going to have a second to see it before all this stuff starts happening. So we're going to start the surprise sound, and I'm going to do a second event here that's when I receive hit in butt. There we go. And I'm going to have it wait a little. Actually, oh, I don't know if this is going to work here. We need start sound, and he's going to switch his costume. So let's have a look at this timing one more time. I really want to see this one in action one more time. So basically the second that it hits him, and it didn't switch costume, eh? Switch costume to Hen C. We need a delay here, otherwise we're not going to see this. So I'm going to add another little half-second delay here. I think what we need, and what Pro Learner's suggesting, is that maybe we could have him do that exclamation a little bit early. So what I could do is, let's go back to domino. Okay, so here's domino 3 here. Maybe the broadcast has to happen earlier in the process here. So let's turn this domino 3 fall event. You can see there's a repeat loop that goes 35 times. Let's cut it in half so that he's going 17 times at the beginning, and then he broadcasts the message, and then we'll do 16 times at the end. That still adds up to 30. Oh, actually, we'll do 18, and that still adds up to 35 here. And so while the domino is still falling, we're going to broadcast that message, and maybe that'll fix that timing up a little bit. Let's look at it one more time here.
You did 16.
16, yeah. Well, let's see what this looks like anyway and see whether the timing still works. Perfect! Now you can see that he has to walk a little bit further. He's not actually clicking the button here. So let's go and maybe add one more loop to this walk loop here. We're going to go maybe, well, let's do 10 times. The timing's actually way better with the exclamation point and stuff now. I also noticed over in my button effect here where we're going a bit back and forth, we've actually got the chord in a different configuration here for the next costume. So what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to duplicate the first costume so that it looks identical, and then we're going to take this glowing light bulb effect. I'm going to copy it and paste it into this spot here so that we have the proper chord, and I'll move that to the back. There we go. So now I can delete the other costume that I don't need anymore, and hopefully that should work better now. Okay, so I think this is our final try at this. I think our thing is actually working properly now, so let's give it one last try here. If you want to play with this at home, by the way, here is my remix of this project. I'm going to paste it into the chat.
You also need to share it. And then send
Yeah, I
it.
haven't shared it. Thanks for letting me know. Yeah, so I've just shared it right now. And so if anyone else wants to try remixing this and adding another toy to this, I'd really love to see what you guys can come up with. So let's give it one last run here. And hopefully everything will be working properly. There we go. Good enough anyway. Oh, when the light didn't go on. Okay. Anyway, I think we've given enough time to this project right now. If you guys want to go in and add pieces to this project, I'll be happy to show them on next week's live stream. Or if anyone can get anything done just in the 10 minutes or so that we're, or the maybe 15 or 20 minutes left in today's live stream, then by all means go ahead and do that as well. And so if anyone, here's a little mission impossible for you guys. If anyone wants to do a little more tweaking to this project in the next couple of minutes, then I will show it on the stream today. Yeah, Pro Learner, thank you. He says perfect. And yeah, that was a good piece of advice. So you can see that I didn't go into this project with a, oh, sorry, someone wanted to talk. Chris, what did you want to say, buddy?
The reason the light didn't go on is because when you made the new costume, it was named Costume 3, and you had it still in Costume 2.
Oh, I should have done a next costume in there, eh?
Yeah.
So, that was under the button stamp here. Oh yeah, it didn't say next costume, it just said costume 2. So let's change that over to costume 3. Brilliant. Okay, all right, just for your benefit, Chris, I'm going to run this one more time. So there's an example of how we cooperate and help each other out in these little live coding sessions. There we go. There we go. And again, the time is a little off there, so I might want to play around with the sound effect a little bit maybe. And I could probably just go in and add a little bit of a blank to that sound effect under the chicken there so that the click happened a little bit later here. And yeah, I think what I'm going to do is just record a little bit of empty sound here. So let's just go copy that, and then I'll delete it, and then I'll record. Oh, no, that's not going to work. So I don't know how I would add an extra little bit of empty noise to here. I would probably have to do a, you know what, I could just, I'm going to record this all over again here. So let's do a brand new recording here. Sorry, I'm obsessive about this now. There we go. So there's my new sound. I could put this into 2 different sound effects as well, and that would probably simplify it as well. Okay, so there's my recording 1. It still has the same name, so I don't think I even have to change that around inside the code here. Let's just see if that works a little better. No, you see, the timing's still messed up here. Anyway, I'm not going to spend any more time working on this right now. The idea that I'm trying to convey to you guys is that when we do these live coding sessions, we don't really know how things are going to work out, and they often don't work out the way that we expect them to. So we're just developing stuff, building, and you're seeing some of the troubleshooting that happens in making an actual Scratch project. So if you're interested in, especially if you're brand new to Scratch and you want to learn how to make your own projects, it's good to watch some more experienced people at work and see the kind of problems that arise and how they solve them along the way. And so that's what this live stream running Monday through Wednesday next week is going to be all about, just showing you guys the actual troubleshooting mechanism that we try to operate when we're building stuff on the fly like this. So pro learners asking, can you make a live stream of Super Smash Brothers? Well, we're not doing a live stream because we're actually canning our tutorials, right? Ben has pre-filmed our tutorials, and the first one ran last week. You can go to my website if you're interested in finding the link to that. There's also a link in the description down below here as well. So if you go looking at that, you'll find our part 1 tutorial. Part 2, as I said, is going to be released today. So no use live streaming it since it's a little bit too complicated to do that way. For our live stream projects, we're going to go with slightly simpler projects, I think. There's just no real way to do something quite as complex. That's a little bit more of the kind of thing we were doing with our COVID computer camp last year, and it very, very quickly turned too complicated for you guys to follow along, and so that's why I'm not in favor of doing that anymore. Okay, so I am done with live coding for now. I just wanted to show you one more project. As I said, I don't have a lot of content this week because my co-op students, who are usually producing stuff for me, are all done for the year. So it's more or less me creating stuff right now. And so I was inspired to create one brand new project this week. I was just thinking about an old TV commercial that I saw that featured a cat, and it just fell into my head a couple of days ago. I was just thinking about this old TV commercial that I watched way back when I was a kid, and you guys are probably familiar with the modern versions of it. It's the old Meow Mix TV commercials. Let me show you. I've actually downloaded a clip of it. Let me show you one of the original commercials from way back in the 1980s when I was growing up. So that got me thinking, that we've got Scratch, who's a cat, who has a meow sound recorded for him, and how can we is there any way to trick Scratch the cat into doing this? So I, drumroll please, have created a little project here that will kind of simulate this a little bit. Simulate it quite badly, by the way. So here's a project called Cat Piano that I'm going to share out on the chat here. So sorry, I forgot, I neglected to send my other link out on the YouTube chat. There it is right now. So that one is the link to my Rube Goldberg, and here is the link to my Scratch Cat project. And I just thought I'd give you a little look at how this works here. So I started this off by using the pitch sound inside of Scratch here. So if we got a sound here like the meow sound, for example, there's the default meow sound here. I can bend that sound by using this set pitch effect command here. So here's an example. I'm setting the pitch to -45, which will make it lower. So when I click on this and then click on the meow sound again, you can see it's lower. And if I go higher, set pitch effect to 100, you can see it makes a very, very high pitch. So what I started thinking is there's got to be a way to match these pitches to piano sounds, to have them actually match up with real sounds. So what I did was created a little program here that plays piano notes. I'm using the piano add-on, which you can get to from the add-ons menu here. And I grabbed the music add-on, which gives us little piano notes here. Let's max out the screen here. So when I hit the space key, I can play a C note here. You can hear that? Beautiful. Now I'm going to try and play this meow sound and match it up to that. So I'm going to go set pitch effect. I started at about -40 or so. And let's try hitting both of them simultaneously. So that is a little bit off, isn't it? I'm trying to remember what the actual sound was that I started with. I think minus 75 is around where I came up with. So I just kept playing around with this. And just played around with those sounds until I got something roughly approximating that note. Then I went to the next note. So let's try a D here. And then again, I played with the sound. So I tried with something around minus 60 here, for example. And let's try playing that. So it's close. Again, maybe some of you guys out there in TV land will have a better ear for this than me. You might think it's a little bit flat. I bet that Deck, if he's with us today, would probably be really good at this. But no, Deck's not with us. Deck is a piano player. Who else plays piano here? Chris, you play piano, don't you, buddy?
I play violin.
Oh.
I play violin.
Yeah. Do you think you'd be pretty good at detecting these sounds and seeing whether they're on note or not? Like, does this sound flat or sharp to you?
Sharp.
Sharp, eh? So if it's a little bit sharp, meaning it's too high, we can make it lower by taking this number and making it go up a little bit. So let's try minus 62. Is that better?
That seems a bit better.
A bit better. So again, it's a bit of a trial and error process. I went through and figured out all the notes here, and I added them all to a list. You can see the list that I've created here. Now again, these notes are not 100% on. I'm not really that great at auto tuning notes and stuff like that, but I basically came up with something where they're about 15 apart, which seemed pretty good for creating notes. The black keys, I put separate entries on them. So 1 through 8 here are the 8 keys on the standard keyboard, and then 9 through 13 are the black keys on the keyboard. Let me show you what I did with this next. It was actually, it's surprisingly simple what I've done here. I'm gonna hide my note list here. And so when my cat receives a message that says sing, we're just switching to a costume that matches the number of the note. So when I hit button 1 here, our guy's going to switch to costume 1, which is just him with his mouth open. I've got his mouth open wide for the low notes, and as we get higher, he starts to sing with a smaller mouth as he goes to the higher notes here. You can see I've also done a few little things just to dress this up a little bit. I have him looking up, for example, when he sings the high note. I have him kind of bobbing his head around a little bit. And in some cases I've made him move his arms around a little bit. So every time we hit one of these notes, the cat's going to sing a note and change his animation along. Now let's go see what I did with the keys here. You can see I only have 3 sprites that I've created here. And I did the whole thing using cloning. Let me show you how simple the code is on this project. So let's go over the white keys here, and I'll give you a little walkthrough of what's happening. When I click the green flag, we're going to basically show our master key. So the key is just a little white rectangle with a black thing around it. I've created a second costume that's gray that will just go off when we click our thing, just to give us some feedback that we've clicked on our piano key. Now I've got an ID variable here. It's a local variable, and that's really important because every single clone is going to have its own ID number. It starts at 0 here, and then 8 times, once for each key, we're going to change that ID number by 1. So the first guy is going to be ID 1, the second guy is going to be ID 2. Let me disconnect this right now and let me show you what happens here. So I'm going to have my guys say their ID number when I start as a clone. And now when I click the green flag here, you'll see that each one of them has their own ID number. So that first guy is labeled 1, etc., etc. The same thing happens with the black keys, but instead of cloning them all in a repeat loop, I had to clone them a little more precisely so that they match this pattern here on the key. So you can see over in the black keys here, I just draw my first key, give it an ID, draw my second key, give it an ID, like that. So I'm going through this loop 8 times where I just move it over 35 steps because my thing is 35 pixels wide. And I just did that through trial and error, basically. And each one of them gets an ID number, and that's all that really happens here. Then the master one that's making the clones just hides. And then when we click on it, that's of course when the music's going to play here. I'm going to turn off the say my ID function here because we don't need that anymore. So when I click on it, it's going to set pitch that pitch variable to my ID, and that's just going to control which costume our guy's wearing. So he's going to wear a costume that matches the pitch he's singing, and we're going to broadcast that sing message that's going to tell him to wear that costume. So these two don't affect the music, they just affect the costume in the background. Then we're going to switch that costume to gray, which is going to go on, and then we're going to play that sound. So we're going to set the pitch effect to match the number on that list. So for the first note, we're going to go with a -75. So we're going to set pitch effect to match the first item on the list, which is -75 here. And the second one's going to be -60, etc. Then we're just going to play the meow sound, but with the pitch shifted. And we're going to wait half a second for the sound to finish. And then we're going to switch the costume back to off again. So there's really not a ton of code to this, but let me show it to you in action here. It actually works quite well. Now, I'm not going to say it's perfect because, as I said, I'm not quite there with these sounds, and some of them need to be tweaked a little bit. So anyone who's a little more versed in sounds, like a piano player in particular, might be able to help me. If you want to send me revised numbers for these, then I'd love to see it. So let's make Scratch sing here a little bit. Do. There you go. And so it's not too bad. I do think it needs work even to my ear. I can hear that a couple of these notes are a little bit sharp or flat and not quite where they're supposed to be. But you get the idea anyway. So the whole point of this was to remake that meow, meow, meow commercial. So let me try it right here, right now. Again, I'm not promising perfection, but it's going okay. Here we go. All right, so if anyone out there can do a better version of the meow, 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 meow commercial, then please impress me with it. I will absolutely show it on next week's live stream if anyone can do a better job than I did at recreating the meow, 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 meow thing. Anyway, that's just an example of a fun little project. You just take an idea and spin it off in different directions. But hopefully you can learn a little bit about coding just by having a look at the thing. One of the things you can see is how elegant this code is. There's very little code here. And I think a noob who was making a project like this would have done a different button for each of the piano keys. So have a look at this code and see how I used cloning to duplicate this whole keyboard with just 3 sprites and very little code. You can see that I actually there's almost no code at all in this project. It's a tiny little project, but it accomplishes quite a bit. Now, what are some of the ways we could dress this up? We could have Scratch, we could actually have like musical notes flying out of Scratch's mouth here, for example. We could have him saying some stuff as we were typing along here. What I'd also might want to do if I were building on this, let's say we were doing a live coding off of this, is I would try and invent a way to get Scratch to remember which keys I hit on the piano keyboard. So I would set up a recording button here maybe and get it to try and remember which order I pressed the keys in and try to play them back when I hit a play button. So that's one direction you could take this project. There's also different things that you could do to expand this. What else could we do to expand this project? Anyone on Discord have any thoughts on what we could do to ramp up this project a little bit and do something more fun with it?
Maybe like from a song.
Yeah. Well,
then change that pitches.
So try and come up with more songs that match these different tunes. Like we could try like Twinkle Twinkle Little Star and try and come up with the notes for it and maybe do a button to get him to play it, right? So we could go.
Yeah, it'd be like you can mix it with the Rickroll like maker and do it like that.
With the
meows in time with the
Rickroll maker, I'm not quite sure how that would fit together.
Like make the pictures of that song and then
oh, so we can bring Rick Astley into here? Is that the idea somehow, into this piano project? I'm not quite sure how that would work out, so I'd have to I'd have to see an example of that in action. I don't 100% know how that would work. Anyhow, so I'm not hungry. Anyway, I'm not sure that was your voice, Abe. Can you mute your mic, buddy?
No, I have an idea for this.
Sure, go ahead, Abe.
Can
Yeah, go ahead, Abe.
maybe what could what's then this like maybe you could make it so if you click a button you have a different person instead of scratch cats you have like I don't know another scratch character singing it. Or
Oh
something
yeah,
like
we could do like a dog or something singing, going ruff 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 ruff. It would be very easy to substitute this for a different sound. I'm not sure if we did different sounds here, whether the notes would still work out here. That's an interesting little experiment. Abe actually even inspired me here. So let me try and get a different sound here. Is there a dog bark sound? Let's go dog. So there's a dog barking sound. And let's try substituting the dog bark sound here and see if we can still do music here. So I'm going to go dog 1. And let's try that out now. Uh-oh, the black keys aren't working properly. Hey, you know what? Those notes actually sounded better than the cat notes, I have to say, Abe. So that's a good idea. So we could create buttons along the top here to switch characters and have different characters singing. That would be an awesome way to remix this file as well. So over here on the black notes, we're going to tell them instead of playing meow, we'll play, oh, we've got to load up the sound. You guys know that sound effects don't carry over from one sprite to another. A fast way to fix that is I'm just going to go over to my sounds, grab the dog sound and drag it over to the black key so that we have access to it there. And so now I should be able to change this one to dog 1 as well. And let's try that meow, meow, meow song one more time here. Hey, that actually sounds better than the cat, I have to say. I think the dog is singing in tune better than the cat is. Anyway, so here is your invitation, guys. If anyone wants to remix this project, again, you'll find the link down below. And I would love to see what you guys can do to torque up this project a little bit. So that's about all we have for today, guys. I am going to be back Monday at 10 a.m. Eastern. We're going to be doing some live coding. We're going to be building this Rube Goldberg project. Now, the actual background code to this is going to be a little bit more complicated. So we're going to be using a scrolling screen format to make our Rube Goldberg machine bigger. But the actual events are going to be fairly simple. So I think even beginner scratchers are going to find something really useful here to play around with. And there's going to be lots of chances for you to remix this and add your own projects. I'm looking forward to seeing what you guys come up with as well. So we're going to start working on that at 10 o'clock sharp, 10 Eastern, right here on YouTube. You'll find the link on my website, and you'll also find the link right here on my YouTube channel, Chromeworks Technologies. So I'm looking forward to seeing the rest of you guys here. Hopefully some of you guys over in the Discord community are going to join me and bring your own ideas as well. Looking forward to it. Okay, guys, so that's it for this week. I'll be back next week with some more of our Super Smash Brothers tutorial. We're going to be wrapping it up next week, and we're working on a brand new featured project that we'll be unveiling in the next week or two as well, and I'm excited to bring that to you. All right, thanks for joining me, everybody, and we will see you next or Monday. Bye now.